which is an official United States holiday that honors all men and women who served in the United States Armed Forces.
You know, he gave us brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Y'all sing along with me now, come on. America, I love you, America. You see, my God, he done shed his grace on thee. And he crowned thy hood. Yes, he did. You know, he gave us brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Lord, 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 Lord. I thank you, Lord. I thank you, Lord. God bless America. God bless our veterans. God bless you all.
While at the parade, we spoke with members of the Vietnam Veterans of America Chapter 126 of Manhattan. VVA 126's mission is to ensure the appropriate recognition of military service, to assist veterans in obtaining benefits, and to provide service and leadership to our community. In addition, through public programs and educational channels of communication, they strive to improve public perception of Vietnam veterans. It's Veterans Day here in New York City. We're with Chapter 126 President Joseph Graham. Joseph, first of all, could you tell us about this day?
Oh, it's a very special day, honoring all veterans. This is the 95th year that we've done this in our city. And it's one of the largest in the country, if not the largest. And we started back in 1984, 85. There was only a few of us marching, and we wanted to make a change. And we wanted the goal of this whole thing is to remember and honor veterans. And today, when we got 45,000 kids coming back to New York State next year from Afghanistan and Iraq, it is important for them to know that we acknowledge them, we recognize them, and we want to be able to help them, be it their health care or jobs. We want all of those veterans, these new veterans, to know that we're here for them.
You know, this is the Vietnam chapter, and you have a slogan, and which says, "What no veterans." You give the slogan.
Yeah, there's several Vietnam veteran chapters here in marching today. I'm president of the Vietnam Veterans Chapter 126 of Manhattan, New York. And our motto is, never again will one generation of veterans turn their back on another.
Yeah, that's it. Never again will one generation of veterans turn their back on another. What does that mean?
Well, it means when we came home, we felt that the older veteran service organizations, VFW, American Legion, they weren't there for us when to support us. It was an unpopular war. So they kind of forgot about us. They did not embrace us, and we vowed that we would never allow that to happen to any other veterans. So it wasn't until 1984 when then Mayor Koch, Ed Koch, great mayor, himself a World War II vet, said, no, we're going to have a parade welcome home to our veterans. And you'll hear us acknowledging to each other, welcome home. And that's the significance of that.
And just, what's it like going to war? Tell us about war.
Well, you know, it's a life-changing experience. What not just me, but all of us have to say, I would say any veteran I know, their whole lives were impacted by a war, any war. And unfortunately, our country seems to be sending our young men and women now to war when these other countries are sitting back and letting us catch the heat, and it's unfair. And so and especially if you're injured or hurt or something happens to you in Vietnam, it isn't just the veteran, it's the veteran's family, his siblings, his children. These kids coming back today have traumatic head injuries, they have the PTSD, and that does not just impact that person, it impacts a whole family, in-laws, parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters. So going to war it's something that we should never really want to do, but we have to do. When you have outfits like this ISIS group they're chopping off heads and they claim they're coming after us, then we're going to have to fight, and unfortunately they're not going to stop, and we should go over there and take care of them before they get here and take care of us.
Were you recruited or drafted?
No, I volunteered to go in.
You volunteered?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Oh.
So, and today you'll see a lot of my friends around here. This young gentleman over here was a pilot in the chopper pilot in Vietnam. He was one of the guys that saved many guys on the ground. He was always in harm's way, and he constantly put himself in harm's way to help get the guys on the ground out. And he's you'll see quite a few of us, and this is part of that today. Veterans Day, it's a bond, and it's honoring each other, and that's basically what we're about.
Well, I have a foundation that works with those suffering with post-traumatic stress, and it's the David Lynch Foundation, and it's Operation Warrior Wellness, and we work with those suffering with those hidden wounds of war, which we do feel that meditation, along with every other tool that we need to give veterans, works. So.
And about when did you establish this organization?
Well, in 2005, David Lynch started the program, believe it or not, with the Beatles. And in 2010, I was on Iwo Jima with the 65th anniversary, and I watched how certain World War II people saw comfort in meditation. And it's a non-religious modality. And now we're all over the military. We're into the USO. We're, of course, eventually with our good brothers from Vietnam, who, if we need to remember, 7 out of 10 suicides in our country today are over the age of 50. It's not this newest, greatest generation. It's those that have come back from Vietnam, who have lived through many years, and unfortunately the suicide rate is bad amongst Vietnam veterans, as well as the divorce rate. So I do believe that what we're offering, working with the great new commissioner for Veterans Affairs for the City of New York, Mayor de Blasio knows Ed Schloeman, and we're going to make a difference here, especially with the Vietnam Veterans, Chapter 126.
You know, my dad was a World War II vet, but it never seemed to be addressed then. When do you feel that this post-traumatic stress syndrome started to get addressed?
Well, they say from Vietnam.
From Vietnam.
You know, it was the first war that people became more homeless, and we see that today, thank God. Mayor de Blasio, as well as Senator Schumer, all have recognized that New York needs to plant the flag against homelessness, and they're in dire straits, and with the help of meditation, with the help of David Lynch Foundation, with the help of people just like yourself, we're gonna succeed, and the suicide rate will go down, the homeless rate will, and it's starting to go down in New York City. And if we can't make it here, what do they say? We can't make it anywhere.
If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Well, that's wonderful.
And what we say in Brooklyn, forget about it.
With us is Bruce McInnes. This is Veterans Day. Tell us what Veterans Day means to you.
Well, it means that a lot of people that are still alive and can get to a place like this are able to walk up Fifth Avenue and be hailed by other people and to get together and meet each other again. You know, it's a great day for everybody. It's a day that we we come out, we meet and greet, and we feel good. It's not like Memorial Day where we have to regret everybody that's been lost. You know, it's a different kind of celebration.
I'm with Billy Hart, who is was in the war, and he had brought up something up about Survivor's Guild. He said you sort of walked him through that. Could you tell us what Survivor's Guild is?
I don't really find that I've been affected by it, but many are and were, and it's the fact of feeling you've left people behind, or you didn't do something you could have done, or it's the guy that took your seat in a helicopter one day because you didn't feel well, you had something else you had to do, and then that guy perished or was wounded or was otherwise harmed. And I was a pilot, so I don't know what went on the ground, but the people that were on the ground were faced with these issues every day, all day long and all night long when they were out in the field. I mean, I was lucky I got to go home at night. My aircraft had to be in a safe place at night. Lucky for me, because that meant I had generally a fence around me and some protection. People wanted to protect the aircraft. The Army didn't really care that much about us, but they were worried about the aircraft.
And how did you help him through it?
We sat and in Bill's case, we sat and we talked, and I tried to persuade him that first of all, he's here and he's got to go on and put himself together and keep himself together, and that there's nothing to be done anymore for those who are not here or those who are injured, and that we can't repair them. We can only work to repair ourselves.
And the slogan here is "Never again will one set of veterans abandon another." What does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to, I think, everybody here that was in Vietnam. That when we came home, there was no welcome. There was resentment. There was resistance. And in many cases, there was abuse and insult, sometimes danger from people here. And our group has pretty much decided that those who have followed us should not suffer the same consequences from having served their country, whether they wanted to or not. Even if they had to go, they still went. You know, they went to wherever they were told to go instead of going to Canada or to to places where they could have avoided it. The people that were in the service deserve a lot of credit for having answered the call, either willingly, hopefully, or even regretfully, but having answered it. And here they are today.
With us is Laurence Lynch, and could you tell us what part of the service you were in?
I was in the Army, 25th Division, 2nd 12th Alpha Company, and Crew Chief, 68 to 69 August.
Did you serve in Vietnam? Or?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell us about that experience?
Oh, God, it was traumatic, heart-wrenching, you name it. It was. I was there during Tet, the worst part of the war, so it was really bad. Lost a lot of buddies. Yeah.
And what does sacrifice mean?
Sacrifice is the point of you giving your all for your fellow buddy and some for country. But
And since you've come back, how are things here in the U.S.?
Oh, they're getting better. It was really bad at first when I come home, but it's getting a lot better. More respect now. Yeah.
And your logo here is "Never again will veterans abandon another veterans." What does that mean to you?
Well, that's true, because the way we were treated, we don't want no other vets coming from any other war to be treated the way the Vietnam vets were treated when we first got back. That's exactly what it means.
With us is Paul Siegert, and who said he was on the battleship New Jersey from
1968 and 69.
Could you tell us about that experience?
Well, the New Jersey was the pride of the Navy, and what they did was to man the ship with what the best that the Navy had to offer. Everything from gunner's mates to bosun's mates to yeoman, it didn't matter. It was the pride of the Navy, and it was taken out of mothballs to go directly to Vietnam.
Oh, and why was it the pride of the Navy? What does that mean?
Well, what it was that the battleships were used during the World War II and also Korea, and now that Vietnam was starting to heat up, they needed a gun platform, and the New Jersey has 16-inch guns that fire 2,800-pound shells 23 miles, and also 1,900-pound shells. So it was just a platform about a mile off the coast of Vietnam, bombing everything in sight. Whenever the Marines or the Army needed support, the New Jersey was there, and we fired 5-inch guns and 16-inch guns to help.
So that's a lot of action you saw.
Well, we fired, it turned out, I did a little research myself on my own ship and found out that we fired 21,000 shells against the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong during our stay in 1968 and 69. So we contributed along with, you know, millions of other guys.
Oh dear, yes. And coming back home, how do you feel that you were perceived?
Well, you want the truth? The truth was that, you know, guys coming back from Vietnam were baby killers and pigs and all of that. So, frankly, I couldn't wait till my hair grew because it was short. So I kept a hat on, so people didn't know I was in the military. Frankly, that's the truth. It's sad, but that's the way it was coming back.
And we're never going to let that happen again.
That's for sure. That's for sure. As our motto is that, well, the world can be against you, but one generation of veterans will never, ever forget those coming home. So we've got them coming home now from Iraq and Iran, and so we're out there to help them out as much as we can. So.
Welcome home, and this is Veterans Day 2014. Hey, welcome home.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's Veterans Day. We're in New York City. With us is Phil Milio. Could you tell us what branch of the service you were in?
I was in the Army. I was in Vietnam in 1968, 1969.
And could you tell us what Veterans Day means to you?
Oh, it means a lot. It's a time that we think about our buddies that we served with, and then our comrades that we met after we came back home, who helped support us all the way through those difficult days, and especially they continue difficult days with difficult memories. So Veterans Day is very important because also other people who don't think about veterans every day like we do as veterans get to acknowledge veterans, and this parade today is one of those examples.
Could you tell us about serving in Vietnam?
Well, that's pretty hard. Besides the fact that it was very hot, it was a constant time of fear and anxiety, but also there was a lot of really good close friends that we made while we were there. Most of us served for a year. I was only 19 when I was there, so I was just a kid.
Were you drafted? Or?
No, I joined.
Oh, you joined?
I joined. Then I volunteered to go to Vietnam.
Oh,
yes.
And that was such a dangerous war, and also maybe not a very popular war.
Yeah, it was difficult when we got home because the community, the country didn't accept us, and that was really, really difficult.
And the motto on this chapter 126, Vietnam, never again will veterans abandon other veterans. What does that mean to you?
Well, that means that when other men and women went to war, which more recently we're all aware of, we helped them. We do everything we can to help them find comfort and be able to get their benefits if that's what they need, or just have some moral support of other people who've served in combat.
And Vietnam seems to be the war that finally this post-traumatic stress syndrome sort of, what should I say, raised its head as far as, I know my father was a World War II vet and nothing was ever said about it.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing to talk about. Right. It deals with, part of it is because we were raised that we have to be so machismo not to be able to talk about how hard it really was and how difficult it was. But what happens is then you find that a person who served in such horrible conditions in a war, or people who experience trauma here, it's hard to sleep, They can be snippy and they can have a difficult time keeping friends. And some people abuse drugs like alcohol or other drugs just to try to calm themselves down. So the country became aware of that because we repeated it so much, and that we were able to break through. And then Congress accepted it, and the Veterans Administration accepted it, and so now it's really looked at.
So it's now one positive.
Yeah.
Hey, have you been down to Washington, D.C.? I know they're doing a lot with the Vietnam veterans now.
Yes, I've been down there. In fact, last year today, I went down to visit with my brother and my nephew, who both served in the service. My brother is a Vietnam-era veteran, and my nephew has been in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Oh dear, that's another war.
Yes.
Yes. Raymond Walinski, could you tell us what division of the service you were in?
Yes, I was in the U.S. Air Force, and I was one of the last people to be there during the fall of Saigon, April 30th, 1975. It was at the Utapao Air Force Base, where we helped evacuate Saigon and bring in all the refugees, weapons, and things of that nature into Thailand, because Thailand had materials like all Air Force bases, not too many Army people. So that's like my whole claim to fame, being like one of the last guys to leave Saigon.
Oh, that must have been sort of frightening, Noah.
Well, yeah, but when you're 19 years old, you really don't care. You don't think of death, you don't think of dying, it really doesn't matter. You really don't care.
Really?
Yeah. So now I'd be scared, like crazily scared, but back then you really don't care about anything. Do you think you're going to live forever at that age?
And could you tell us what sacrifice means?
Well, actually, I don't want to get into the whole sacrifice thing because I didn't really feel I made sacrifices. I joined the military for adventure, you know, to escape my mundane adolescent years and seek adventure and travel and that sort of thing.
Oh, so you joined, you weren't drafted?
Oh, no, I was joined. I was actually the last year, 1972 is the year I graduated high school, and 1971 was the last year there was a draft, so I didn't have to join. I joined for adventure, I wasn't drafted, I joined to travel, and I don't want to get all patriotic. I didn't join to serve my country or anything of that nature. I joined for kicks.
Oh, well, was it adventurous?
Oh, it was a great adventure, and I would do it all over again. No doubts at all.
Oh, well,
no sorrows, nothing. Happy to have done it and would do it again.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Could you tell us, Green Beret, could you tell us what that is?
Oh, the Green Beret? Well, the Green Beret was something that was started a long time ago from the Derby Rangers, right? Back in the 1860s. That's where the Green Beret started from. And the job of the Green Beret is to go into a country and teach the people in the country how to survive in wartime. That's the job of the Green Beret. Wherever we're called to go, we go and we do what we're supposed to do. We fight the country battles, we do what we're supposed to do. Wherever they call for us, that's where we go. And that's the Green Beret. It's not hard, but it's easy, but sometimes it's hard.
Can you tell us about your experience?
Oh, I'm a Vietnam veteran. I fought in Cambodia in the Mekong Delta. I was there for 2.5 years behind the enemy line, fighting the Viet Cong and the NVA. And I won a CIB with a reef, meaning a combat infantry badge, and I've jumped into combat one time. I have a Bronze Star over my jump wings. I have a Good Conduct Medal, and I have I'm gonna wrap it up. Oh, okay.
No,
and I have a longevity medal, and I also have a token from a 2-star Major General for outstanding service. So I've done a lot in my life as a Green Beret. And
what did you do to get the Long Star? What was it, the Long Star medal?
which this one here, this corn here, this is for outstanding service. I'm also a senior drill sergeant. And what I do as a senior drill sergeant, my job is to bring the recruits in and train them before they go to basic training. So that's what I do. And it's a rewarding job. It's a rewarding job to see the young people go off and come back to me and say, Staff Sergeant, this is what you did for me, this is what we did, we appreciate what you did for us. A CIB is one in combat. It has a reef under it, meaning that I met the enemy hand to hand, and I fought them hand to hand, combat. This is how you get a CIB. It's called a Combat Infantry Badge with a reef. And I have jump wings. I have my jump wings here. I did 5 jumps and 1 combat jump. And in my combat jump, I jumped into Vietnam 1 time, which gives me a bronze star over the shroud of my parachute. And that's what it's about.
I mean, I don't know, it's some of the things we get the younger guys, younger girls to understand. It's not a joke. It's real. All the time in the reserve unit, you play the game like it's real. Because the next thing you know, you're on a plane going over there. And if you go humming, ain't gonna help you out much. So we teach them as hard as we can. Fighting a Navy ship fire is about the worst thing you can do. Because if you jump overboard, how far can you swim? If you stay, you better learn how to fight fire the right way. United States Navy, gunners make gun, damage controlman, and good things like that.
Give us the best advice.
Learn not to burn. And keep this open, keep this shut. That's the best advice. This got to stay open, that stays shut. That's about it.
What does Veterans Day mean to you?
Hanging out with everybody that did their thing, people that gave the ultimate sacrifice. See, there's no heroes out here. Nobody's a hero out here. The heroes are the ones you don't talk to on that wall in Washington. Trust me. They're the ones that we scream for. They gave the ultimate. So we represent them every day of our lives. I've been here since day 1, and I'm still going. Legs don't work anymore like they should, but I'm here since day 1. Me and all my friends over there since day 1. And we keep coming till we can't come no more.
And once again, welcome home and thank you for your service. I'm Kristal Hart, and thanks for watching.
Lord, Lord, I thank you, Lord. I thank you, Lord. God bless America. God bless our veterans. God bless you all.